You have now downloaded LibreOffice, copied some data from a spreadsheet, an online spreadsheet onto the spreadsheet on your computer on LibreOffice. Now we're going to look at making a histogram. So making a histogram, we're going to go back to our spreadsheet over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on this first row, and I'm going to insert a row above. And I'm going to click this, and I'm going to say, here are my data. Okay? And like before, I'm going to click on the top, click on the bottom, and then I'm going to copy that by pressing Control-C, and then I'm going to go over a couple of rows and I'm going to paste it by pressing Control-V. Now, one thing I noticed that a few people did was when they were trying to select an entire row, they would try to grab this, or a bunch of data, they would try to grab this little box and drag it down. Now, you'll notice when I do this, what happens is, changes my data. It actually makes it so that each cell is one number higher than the above number. So that's not how you want to do it. So I'm going to go and edit. I'm going to undo what I just did. So undo, you can use Control-Z to do that. So Control-Z. So if I want to select a bunch of data, again, I can click on it and then drag down, not using the little black box, just dragging down. Or the way, like I said, I prefer is click on it on the top and then shift click at the bottom, and that will select all of the cells that I want. So here's my data. We're going to make a sorted column. And again, I'm going to select all my data. So I've clicked on the top, shift click on the bottom, and then you'll go over here and you'll actually see that you've got a little button that sort of says sort in ascending. So that means sorting in order that goes higher and higher. So I'm going to click on that, sort ascending, and you can see that now all of my data are in order. Then I'm going to do, I'm going to make some bins. If I look at my values, they go from 34 to 81. So I'm going to choose some bins, and we'll see if these are a reasonable size, but I'm going to choose some bins that the first bin goes 30 to 40, the second bin goes from 40 to 50, the next bin goes from 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, and 80 to 90. And then we're going to do frequency or counts. The number of values that I have between 30 and 40 are right here. We've got 1. Between 40 and 50, I've got 1. Between 50 and 60, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Between 60 and 70, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you'll notice that I included 70 here, but in the next one, I'm actually going to not include 70. So the way these bins have been defined, 60 to 70 includes 70, but 70 to 80 is actually 70.000000001. It doesn't actually include 70. So we're going to, from 70 to 80, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values. And then finally, between 80 and 90, we're going to have 2 values. There we go. So now I have my bins. I have the number of values that are in each bin. I'm going to select these. And what I'm going to do is insert an object. That object is a chart. I'm going to click on chart. Another way to do this is there's actually a little chart button right up here, and I can click on that. So I click on chart, and my little chart pops up. And I also get a chart wizard. Now the chart wizard could let me choose some different kinds of plots, but in this case I actually want a column plot. So I'm going to leave it as it is and just click finish. And so now I have my, now I have my graph here. Now I want to undo that move that I accidentally did. So like I said, I can go and I can click edit undo, or I can just click Control-Z. So So I'm going to click Control Z. I actually just kind of want to move this whole thing over so it's in the center of the screen. So let's look at the things we wanted to do. One of the things we wanted to do was make sure that all these bars were actually touching each other. So we left click on one of the bars, and now we right click and we choose Format Data Series. Now the data series has this value, or this thing called spacing, and what we want to do is we want to set that to 0 and then hit OK, and now that's going to squish all the bars together. Lovely. Another thing we might want to do is get rid of the legend. Now we can get rid of it, or if we double click it, we can change what's written in there, but I actually just want to get rid of the legend. But you can customize it. We can look at that some other time. So I just hit delete. I clicked on it and then hit delete. And so now you see I've got some values along the x-axis, I've got some values along the y-axis, but we need to add some labels to this graph. So I'm going to click not on a bar, but just outside of the data, and I'm going to click Insert Titles. So let's name this thing. This thing is going to be a histogram of grade distribution. Okay. The x-axis, what our bins, will be the grades, and the y-axis is the frequency. Ta-da! So now we've made a nice histogram. Now before I end this one, if you're interested in knowing a faster way of counting the number of values that fall in certain bins, I will show you how to do that. So I want to get rid of this graph for now. It's giving me trouble here. So I'm just going to move it out of the way. So we'll move the graph out of the way, and I'm going to come back up here. And so now this was my frequency. Now I'm going to do something that counts using a function. So I'm going to do these counts a different way. So there are a bunch of different Excel commands that can make things a lot easier. One of them is called count IFS. So that means count if, and you can have a number of different if statements. So I'm going to open my parentheses, and what you do is you choose your range of data that you want to count. So I want to count, I'm going to use my original data on the far side. So I'm going to count from A2 all the way down to A26. And you'll see, so that's A2, A26. Then I hit comma. And now we're going to enter the criteria. So that means, the spreadsheet will only count if the criteria is met, or this criterion, is met. So what we want is values that are 30 or higher to get counted. So the way you do that is you say a double quote, higher or equal to 30. Oh, actually, we don't want higher or equal to. We just want higher than 30, remember? Because we were going to go 30.00001 all the way up to 40. So that's going to be higher than 30. Now we're going to make another condition, and we're going to choose the same data. So we're going to go from A2, oops, let's try that again, A2 to A26. You can see that. I'm going to hit comma again. And now the other criterion is that I want it to be less than or equal to 40. So this one is going to include the 70 that we have below when we get to the 70 part. Lovely. Now, we're actually not going to talk about, well, we're going to talk about this trick again on the next video, but on this one I'll just remind you, if I want to basically copy the thing I just did and do it on a whole bunch of different ones, I can either kind of do the thing where I grab the little box in the corner and I drag it down and it will copy a whole bunch. But that's weird. They're all one. Well, that's because I haven't, on some of these other ones, like this one right here, I haven't set it to 40 to 50 yet. But also another problem is when I go down here, you will notice that at first we went from A2 to A26, but the second one goes from A3 to A27. So if we want to lock A2 to A26, what we want to do actually is put a $sign before our number, $2, $26, and on the second one, $2 and $26. And now if I take these and I copy or I fill down like that, I will get A2 to A26. Now another way to do the fill down like I just did is you copy the first cell and then you select all the cells that you would like to paste a copy of that cell into, and you get the same result. So now what I want to do is I want to change this to go from 40 to 50, the next one from 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, and 80 to 90. And you will notice that all the exact same values came up as when I counted by hand. So using that count if, or multiple ifs, count IFS, gives you the same values. And then what I could do is go and make my chart again if I wanted to. So that's the way to kind of speed up counting. So in the next video, we'll look at calculating the mean and standard deviation.